Dirty Thursday with the Bullring Boys. Now, if you look at the ticker on the bottom, says Joshua Johnson on the show, late model race car driver. Well, we kind of fibbed a little bit. This guy, like we've been promoting it all week long, races pretty much anything on four wheels. We're going to be talking with Joshua Johnson. The other half of the Bullring Boys, Chad Hoff in the studio. Show today brought to you by Northwest Tire in Grand Forks. They're looking to hire some people, all right? Need a tire tech. You're not afraid to show up for work on time, which a lot of people have that problem. It's not that tough to do. And if you don't mind working while you're there, might be the perfect job for you, all right? No prior work experience is necessary. Northwest Tire, they'll even train the right people. Great benefits, too. PTO, health insurance, 401k, and more. Pay will depend on experience, but if you want to find out more, you need to stop into Northwest Tire on Gateway Drive. Or you can call Chad, 701-780-8473.
Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Some
knucklehead. Or apply online at nwtire.com. We'll even talk to this Chad guy here in a minute about what they're looking for. Got any questions or comments for any of the Bullring Boys or Joshua Johnson? Our number 701-213-0863. All right? Appreciate the texts and the phone calls. And before we get too much further into the show, it is time now for our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Why did the zombie come last in a late model race? Why did the zombie finish last in a late model race? He left his foot on the gas.
I like it.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me back, man. This is cool.
Yeah. Well, we did the snurdy thing last week. You were kind of busy.
Yeah. Well, this time of year for us is a lot of training. This is the slow time of year, we'd say, for the tire industry. So we get a lot of trainings in. So I've been in training for the past 2 weeks. It's all Zoom, which I hate. I hate Zoom training.
Did you learn anything?
I learned. We had a chemist come on and talk about rubber products, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
You know? I learned a lot from that. That's probably the most I've got, but yeah, it's always good. It's always good refreshers.
Good. I'm going on vacation next week. I'm leaving right after the Dirty Thursday show, and you're going to be doing the solo gig
I'm
the
doing
week after.
Solo with Mason.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show.
I know. Like that.
I don't want to miss.
Well, you know, it's funny that we both think it's going to be a good show because we said it at the exact same time.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good show. And that kid does so much for racing and dirt track racing in
Absolutely.
general. I mean, so it's going to be cool to get on and talk with him a little bit.
We dang near sounded like two of the the Bee Gees there.
Yeah, it's like we know what we're talking about. Just let me hold on. Sorry.
Best line in a Bee Gees song?
What?
That's it.
That's the best thing ever.
Joshua Johnson is in the house.
Yes, he is.
I'm kind of going overboard with the crowd today, but
I love it. I love it. It just shows that we're excited to be here.
We got to
get
some
check out this
tracks.
cup I got. Look at this thing. It changed. Now
it's green, so it's not. It's invisible.
If I put it,
look at that. You can put anything on there.
Oh. It's green, but it turns blue with water in it. Because I go back to work after this, so it's straight water.
Water.
This is so cool.
Yeah, and then if you put your hands down where the water is, it'll turn green again because of the warmth of your fingers and your hands. It's pretty neat. This is high tech. Your chemist from the tire company didn't talk to you about these things?
He never mentioned these cups that change colors. No, never said anything about that.
You know, we'll even let you take that one home with you.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm going to lick all over it. So. Hey, Josh, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Good to have you on here.
Yeah.
The man that drives everything on four wheels.
He does.
Pretty much.
He does. And I was telling him before we went on the air that he's been on our radar for a long time.
Right.
Just because of what we do or what he does. But get this thing rolling. First off, I don't want to know anything about racing right now. Tell us about Joshua Johnson away from the racetrack.
I really don't have anything. I'm too busy racing.
Do you work?
Yep.
Okay. What do you do?
What do you for work?
I work for West Fargo Schools in Hartwood.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Married, kids, any of that fun stuff?
No.
No, I'm too busy
Too
for
much.
that.
Yep.
I mean, he's got like 17 race cars, so he can't have time for nothing like that.
Now, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, late model, a modified, You run the non-sprint, the non-wing sprint cars, and you also ran some NOSA stuff and wing sprint car racing. Did
Yes.
I leave anything out?
No, that would have been about it.
So how did you get your start in racing?
Well, I actually grew up in a racing family. My dad started racing about 5 years before I was born. So
Okay.
every Friday night in Fargo, I was there. Every Sunday night in Glendon, I was there.
Right.
So, I just planned on racing. It took a while, but I mean, it was
It's in your
always on my
blood.
radar. Yeah.
Yeah, and coming from Harwood, North Dakota.
Now we might get a little bit too much on the applause.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
That's the entire town doing that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what is it, like 64% of the population of Harwood drives a race car?
It darn near feels like it.
Yeah.
Well, he was sitting there telling me, well, right across the street, I've got this Gresseth, and right down the road, there's another one. And then we've got this guy right down the street over here, 1 block away. And it's
Right.
like, I've always known Harwood was a racing town. And like I told him, I said, every time I drive through Harwood and I'm on my way to Fargo or back from Fargo, I always try to pick out the houses. Does that look like that could be a race shop?
Right.
Is that like, I wonder if that's where he lives.
If you drive by at the right time, do you think all the cars are out running at the same time? Does that happen?
I'd say on Friday afternoons.
Friday
All
afternoons.
of a sudden, you see like cars getting loaded at least.
Everything's emerging out of the garage.
Oh, for fun. I mean, if I would have been a kid growing up in that town,
Yeah.
I would have been out on my bicycle every Friday afternoon, just stopping and bugging the crap out of these guys.
You ever seen the movie Incredibles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that little kid that driving around and Mr. Incredible's getting out of the car and he's like, "What do you want?" And the kid's like, "Oh, something amazing, I guess." That would be you. That would be you in your bicycle. What do you want, kid? "Oh, I'm just waiting for you to start the car, I guess."
Yeah.
Just, come on.
What else more could I want?
That was definitely us growing up, though.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it?
Yeah, you'd ride bike and like the next street over, there'd be another car, and
Oh, that is so cool, though.
we'd be riding around town, and this guy's got his garage open, so we'd all, and that group of kids was like me and Mike Gresseth and Chad Onstead,
Right.
So
Which are now all racers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Now, when you were a kid, Joshua, you talk about your dad being a race car driver. Was he your favorite driver growing up out of
Yeah.
Harwood, or were there any other ones that you maybe would make 2 stops on the bike that particular day and talk?
Well, I mean, Harwood's such a small town; it wasn't too hard to
Right.
Like you could make up a lot of ground in a short amount of time.
Sure.
So,
That is just, I think having a small town feel like that with everybody, like for racing community, you would say.
Sure.
That's pretty cool. Then you guys could all pretty much travel together.
yeah.
I mean, that's neat too.
Yep.
And then you're also part of something else too. I think a Dirt Track Misfits.
Yep.
How's that going? What in details with that?
We just got a lot of cars, I guess, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Me and Tom Cummings are trying to race everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I've gotten, it seems like he's gotten as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah, your stable's pretty full of machines, I
yeah,
think.
yep.
How big of a garage or shop do you have?
Well, I use the back half of my grandpa's Quonset at his farm.
Oh, sure.
And then for the sprint car stuff, we got it all over at Tom's. He's got like a shop, but like the last quarter of it's like concrete. So, but he's got all his cars plus the 2 sprint cars I got.
Right?
So do you, if you're going from shop to shop to shop, do you got to schlep all those tools around with you, or do you have enough tools where you can keep them kind of in every building?
Well, luckily Tom lets me borrow some of his when I'm at his place. But yeah, most of my tools are in my trailer at my grandpa's shop.
Just don't lose that 10 millimeter socket, right?
That's the most
Something like
important
that.
thing.
I did that right away.
It's somewhere inside the motor.
Sound like you got a pocket full of change. Nope, just 10 millimeter sockets.
Those are my sockets.
Yeah.
A few texts to Amanda Jo Enright likes the applause, so yeah. Catherine Marie, hi Josh, Kevin Pappenfuss, a bunch of people watching. Thank you guys all for watching. Joshua
Yes.
Johnson on the show today. Again, we talked last year, late models, modified, wing sprint, non-wing sprint. What was the first car that you raced? How did you get your start on the dirt?
Honestly, it was the late mall.
It was.
Like I didn't race anything before that, and I jumped right into a late mall. I crewed for my brother. He also raced for
Okay.
about 20 years. And I was pitting for him with the late mall, and at some point I wanted to get one too. It was something I always wanted to do from
Sure.
like when I was a little kid, whenever, but I found a deal with a friend and took a couple of years to build it, but I got it done, and my first laps were in a late model at Red River Valley Speedway,
Wow.
That's pretty cool. How long ago was that?
2010.
2010.
Yep.
Where'd you end up getting your first late model? Who'd you get it from? Because I'm sure it's somebody we probably know.
Justin Olson out of West Fargo. They raced briefly in the late 2000s, I guess.
Right.
But
Okay. Steven Ader, by the way, says, hey, Josh. And I talked to Mike Speaker the other day. So, Steven Ader, if you're watching, we are going to get you and Mike on at the same time. So, you guys need to figure out what that date's going to be because you will be on a Dirty Thursday show. All right. So, Josh, you go from late model, and apparently that wasn't enough for you.
no.
Go through the whole process from the late model and then how did that all go?
So the late model was the first car I raced, but the modified was the first car I had. I originally planned to make it into a Midwest mod, but for some reason, late model was what I absolutely wanted to do.
Right.
But I never got rid of the modified, and that was sitting in a barn at my grandpa's. And after one of my racing seasons with the late model, I was looking at all the stuff I kind of had spares of that could maybe transfer over. And I just started piecing together the modified. And next thing I know, I got 2 cars, and everybody's like, whoa,
Yeah.
where's his money coming from? Yeah, exactly.
You wonder why he's not married with kids.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody throws up the wow.
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of a funny deal because dirt track fans are kind of a different breed.
Yes.
You get your sprint car fans, and then you get your fendered car fans, the late model fans, and they're like completely different. What the hell? How did you end up going from a late model to a modified, and now you throw in a sprint car in there? How'd that happen?
Get that microphone closer to your face. People can't hear you.
Okay.
Say.
Well, just growing up, you got to go to a lot of races, and I was a big late model fan. I was a big modified fan. I was a big sprint car fan. I know people like one or the other, but I liked them all. When the Outlaws would come to town, you'd get to hang out at the Holiday Inn parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Checking those out. So
Right.
you absolutely want to drive one when you're a little kid. And I guess I never lost that.
So where'd you pick up your first sprint car chassis?
When the Western Renegades were first announced, Tom Cummings said he knew of a couple frames that he could probably get for fairly cheap. And he goes, yeah, I think we have enough stuff laying around at my shop. We could probably put a couple of cars together. So we just kind of pieced together 2 cars, and that's what I started with.
Right.
Now, the wingless sprints, I love it. When they
They're
first
so
announced
cool.
that they were going to be coming around here, I thought it was a great deal, fairly affordable as far as racing goes. But
Yes.
not only were you in with these guys, but then you start to throw a wing on once in a while. And I think you ran some NOSA shows and some other shows. But did you just take your wingless car and put a wing on it, or were there many other things that needed to be done?
Well, luckily they allowed me to just do that to get some laps in. Once you do that, you want to do it more.
Sure.
Right.
Well, so that's what I did last year. But over the winter, I was approached by Chuck Thompson of Mapleton that builds a few sprint car engines, and he goes, with this 305 deal in Fargo, if I help you out, would you want to do that? I said, yeah. So we found another frame. And we've been piecing that together, and it's almost a roller. And
right.
Whenever Chuck gets back from Arizona vacationing, he'll be putting a 305 together.
Wow. Some people go to garage sales.
Did you
don't
see?
think he does.
Did you see one time where I think you and Tom went out and bought a bunch of parts? Where was that at? That was on Facebook. So
Yeah,
where
they
was
had
that
a
at?
swap meet
Oh, yeah, I
down in
remember
Cedar
that.
Lake in first week of November, I think.
Yeah, and you guys took off and went down there.
Yeah, I thought we'd just bring a few things home, and next thing you know, our back seat was full, and our the whole back load of the truck was full.
They didn't have any trailers for sale, so you could put more on there.
We had a friend that was planning on coming, and we had to tell him that if he would have come, we would have had to buy a bus ticket
To get him back.
Yeah.
These sprint car parts are more important than you, buddy. You got to ride in the back.
And that's where that Western Renegade thing comes in. It's budget friendly, and you can pick up those things and use stuff, and that's nice too. even the tires and all that stuff you can pick up as used. I mean, so that's a cool thing to get with. I know then you got the itch to put the wing on it, and now everything's kind of morphing into the 305. I think, and Fargo's going to run that more regularly down there, isn't they?
Yep, they'll be weekly. So
yeah,
wow.
And that's an injected class, which is closer to what the NOSA stuff is. So.
Sure,
right. They run Friday nights too.
Yeah.
So then we might
not every Friday night.
Okay. So
I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, well, that's just announced for this year. They're trying to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, of all the racetracks that we are in touch with every week during race season, they're the only ones that we don't talk about. And I don't ever hear from those guys, so I don't know what's going on over there. But
is it because more so they have IMCA stuff and Mazzoda stuff, but they don't, I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't.
Think about it. You and I are a lot like this guy. It could be kids pulling a wagon around the racetrack, and we're still going to watch it and be interested in it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I watch kids rollerblade down the sidewalk as they're racing or down the street, and it's just kind of fun,
Yeah.
pushing like everybody back.
This is funny story. It has nothing to do with racing, but it's kind of funny. Mike McNamara used to be in Grand Forks here.
Okay.
His dad was the McNamara that was the manager of the Red Sox when Bill Buckner pooched the ball between his legs.
Yeah.
So this guy's dad was the coach in the World Series. And he said when they lost that game, his dad, they were getting death threats and all that. I mean, you know how fans are.
Yeah.
So he told me flat out, he was a California guy. They moved up here. He told me flat out, he said, I would rather watch two kids whack a tennis ball against a garage door with hockey sticks than watch my own kids play baseball, because he was so turned off after that all happened. But
doing that?
That gets a little crazy. And by the way, my kid played baseball for Bill Buckner, thought he was the greatest guy in the world.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you
Out
want
in
to play?
Boston, too.
Yeah.
So for fun.
That's cool.
Joshua Johnson is here, and we've talked about the late models, the modifieds, the wing sprints, the non-wing sprints. We're going to ask him what his favorite one is to drive here in just a couple of minutes. But right now, I want to talk about Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. It's just the way it is. Everything needs to be done right now. And the same thing with an oil change. You might go to one place. It might take them hours to do it. Go to Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Most of them are done within 15 minutes. Maybe you need a little bit more done than that, too. They do tranny and coolant flushes. They'll rotate the tires. They'll check your battery. Now, when you get your oil change, and this is all done in like 15 or 20 minutes, they also top off the fluids, check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, your cabin air filter. If you've got fleets, you can get a discount. If you're in the military, you can get a discount. They'll text and email invoices and coupons. What I love about Valvoline Instant Oil Change, and my oil change light has been coming on a lot lately. You tell them you heard this on GFBS, and they're going to knock off some money on your oil change, all right? They're open 7 days a week, $10 in fact. They're open 7 days a week, no appointment needed, pickup and delivery available in Grand Forks. Come to Valvoline Instant Oil Change, a complete oil change and more, 3325 South 38th Street, or call 701-780-8462. And make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. Boring Boy shirts are still for sale. Helping out the, I've got a whole tote full of them in my garage.
Just one tote? We're down to one tote?
We only had one tote.
Oh, wow.
And then also the River City Speedway Fire and Rescue shirts.
I got to get one of those.
Anybody looking for those, just reach out to me and we can find out. What the hell are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? We're having a Dirty Thursday show.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Are you racing a horse and buggy now? Because you look like you're Amish or something.
I could be like my son sometimes, like, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my blue stick gal. Just thought I'd bring a little, I don't know what you guys are. Are you, is it weird? Am I interrupting something? Or?
I'm just not used to seeing you in a hat.
Oh.
Especially one like that.
I thought we were doing a show. I thought it'd be showy. You know?
Nice look on you.
Greatest showman stuff going on right now.
There you go.
That's the next thing.
I got some Canadian guys watching the show today. Robin Madsen Anderson says, hi, Josh. Agree with Amanda Joanne Wright about time on the show. I got a bunch of people watching. Amanda Joe, are all four cars staying with the classy number 84 red, white, and black this season again?
Plan on it.
Plan on it.
Yep. Where did that?
It's a catchy color.
Yeah,
I like
where
it.
did that paint scheme come from? Whatever made you do it that way?
I kind of stole it from Brian Brown.
Okay.
He'd had an FVP sponsored car back in like 2011 or so.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked cool, so I was like, oh, I wonder how it'd look on a late model. So I did it on the late model.
Looks
But then I was
good.
like, I wonder how it would look on a mod.
Looks really good.
Well, then I did it on the sprint car, and it was like it basically came full circle.
Sure. And see
Don't
if I can-
change because
Oh, I got a different picture up
you have
there.
something
now.
else up there now. Oh, that's the old. That must be the old one.
Yeah.
2013.
That was
2013.
I like it that now that see, I've been doing this now for 3 years up here, and it's always been the same color scheme.
Somewhat. I had a blue car, and it was a throwback to my dad.
Right.
But I like the white car, I guess.
Right. I just like it's nice and simplistic. It's clean.
Yep.
And when you do things like that, it's easier for the announcers to know who's who.
yeah.
You know.
Much
In a world
easier.
of black cars, at least I got a white one, I guess.
Right. Yeah. It looks super cool. I like it. Oh, now
We're gonna see if we can dig up that other picture too.
Oh.
We mentioned this, Joshua, before we went into the break again, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. Last year, late models, modifieds, wingless sprints, winged sprints. What is your favorite car to drive? And we want to know what the difference is between these 4 different kinds of cars because, well, let's face it, there's a huge difference in a whole different driving style, I would imagine.
Yep. My favorite one is whatever one I'm in at the time.
whatever one. So when you get into like, so you have the late model you get into, okay,
Yep.
the wingless sprint, and the sprint's kind of the same with you put the wing on there. And you and I were not small men.
Right.
What is the easiest car to get in and out of?
I'd say the late model would be the easiest.
The late model.
Yep.
Yeah,
Then the non-wing, just because you can just come in through the top.
to the top. But then when you put the wing on, then what?
You really got to crawl in there.
Yeah.
You really got to arch your back. And
You
all
gotta be a
kinds of good
Twizzler,
stuff.
man.
Especially with the containment seat, it's a little harder than maybe 10 years ago. But
Sure. And then the mod,
yeah, well, I'd say the late model, the mod, non-wing, and then the wing.
right?
So
That's pretty cool. I tried to get into a modified one time.
How'd that go?
I got into my belly and I got claustrophobic. Like, no more. Pull me out.
I ran about 25 laps on Mark Dobmeyer's, what do they call those? Simulator.
Simulator, yeah.
And I was black and blue. I should have gotten the big boy seat, but I told him, nah, I can get in this one. I was black and blue from banging off the cushion at Knoxville. Next day, I'm like, Jesus, who kicked me in the
Yeah,
ribs? And
yeah.
it was from the dang race seat.
From the race seat. Oh my gosh.
We got a couple of more texts
Oh.
here. First, Amanda Joe. Chad, are you prepping that singing voice to sing the national anthem at River City Speedway? You're sounding great.
The singing voice has been since long gone, I believe.
I feel like we should have had one of those canes where they get you by the neck and pull you off
And
stage.
pull me off the stage. That would have been probably the best thing.
Hey, we're going to do it one of these days, though.
What?
Maybe we could do a duet. I'll do the Canadian, you do the national.
No, we'll flip that around.
Oh, God.
You got to do it
I knew
in
that was
French
gonna be
too.
a trick. How's that?
You know what? If it's not bad, I could probably do it one time. But the old the announcer voice and the singing voice are way two different kind of things.
Yeah.
For me anyway. And I think the announcing voice has kind of hurt the singing side of things.
Oh, okay.
But like I told you last time, I used to do it all the time. I used
Yeah.
to sing at everybody's wedding.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too. Weddings, funerals. I played in a band.
Yeah.
I sang in a band. But jeepers, when it comes to getting out on stage and doing the anthems, scares the bejesus out of me. It really does.
Well, when you get in front, I'm fortunate now. It's not bad because you can turn your back on them.
Yep.
And then sing towards the flag But
Well, then they're looking at your onion.
yeah, I did at Nodex Speedway. I posted that to Facebook. You saw that one. That's not bad, but we're used to getting in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, you know that you turn around and you face the racetrack, and they're looking at your bum.
Yeah.
So you're tightening up those muscles best you can, and all of a sudden, then you cramp up.
I don't
It's
have a bum.
The guy's dancing during the national anthem. No, my ass cramped up. All
All of a
right,
sudden, you got a cramp in the hand.
go doing the
Man
old.
down.
Oh, say.
Catherine Marie says, "Best of luck to you this upcoming season. I'll be yipping from the stands. Harwood forever."
Yep.
Harwood's got a huge racing following. I just absolutely love that.
I think it's really, like we talked about before, I think it's really cool with the racing community type of thing. They have their own little racing community right there in Harwood. I mean, so when you look at 2022 as a racing season, have you planned? Have you looked at schedules? Do you know what you're going to want to run? Obviously, we know the 305's in the works. We know that's going to happen. We know Red River doesn't run every Friday night. But we do know you kind of follow the West Renegades a little bit too.
Yep.
You try to make most races you can.
Right.
So anything like what's in the back of Johnson's head for this summer in 2022?
I'm sure I'll make a calendar and just see what races are where. I'd plan on Fargo every Friday night that they run the 305s, but after that, I'd just kind of be all over the place.
Right.
You know, last year I went to Huset's in South Dakota, Cedar Lake, you know, just kind of all over.
I was going to say, is there any place on your bucket list you want to get to?
Knoxville, but, you know, that's a whole nother.
Everybody wants
that's a whole
to go to
nother piece. You know?
Knoxville.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You were at, now, if I remember right, 12 different tracks, I believe, last year.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite? One that you wish you could race there every single night?
Well, Cedar Lake, actually, that's a big, wide track. I've been going there for years. You know, they have big national events there. It's definitely a fun track to race on.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah, high, good speeds and all that too, you know.
Yep.
And you don't mind traveling.
No.
I mean, you really don't.
As long as the truck's running.
I see that too. Is that if it's Devil's Lake, if it's Bemidji, you were in Bemidji.
Yep. And I went to Underwood, and
Yeah, you went to Underwood and raced with them. I mean, so mile wise doesn't matter as long as you get there. You get there.
Yeah.
And so you're a very big supporter of just racing. I don't think it's just one class. I think it's racing in general. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
So I mean,
If somebody offered a Hornet or a Pierce Hawk for me to drive, I'd do it.
right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned you would race pretty much anything. You ever have aspirations about doing anything on asphalt?
If it was approached to me, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a NASCAR guy? Or, I mean, NASCAR?
I'll watch it, but come summertime, you just don't have time for it.
Right. What are you laughing
Well,
at?
you say NASCAR all
Yeah.
the time, and yet he's so.
Well, I bet I'll be
he's
watching
geeked
the
out.
500, and I bet halfway through I'll be.
I'll be sleeping.
I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, but he'll be there live.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Will
I
you
got
be
really
sleeping?
good seats, too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm not going to be sleeping.
Well, the thing, okay, so the Clash was on this last weekend,
Yep.
right? And they did heat races, which was pretty cool. I watched that. I watched the whole afternoon. And my wife looks over at me, and I'm laying sideways in the chair, and I'm kind of half awake, half sleeping. She goes, "Oh, look, NASCAR Sundays are back." And it's true. I do fall asleep during them, but except for short track racing and all that stuff, I kind of like to watch that.
Yep.
The super speedways, it gets tough. You watch the first 20 laps, and if you're not there in person,
Right.
you doze off a little bit and you wake up, or if a big wreck happens, my son is always wonders, "Did you see that? Well, what happened?"
Yeah. I watched Sports Center the next morning for a reason.
Yeah,
6 a.m.
6 a.m. It's like, okay, so I did miss that. Okay, cool.
And by the way, Kyle Larson, I know you're watching the show.
Yeah.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi from everybody. But
Yeah,
I
appreciate
did
you
get
watching.
a new Kyle Larson sprint car T-shirt for Christmas.
Yeah?
And I plan on wearing that in the garage because I got the pass where I can go down to the garages. And I'm hoping he remembers us. I'm going to
Right.
do some name dropping, River City Speedway, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping he remembers me. I did talk to him for a minute, but how many times do you think he hears that in a year? Yeah, you remember me?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And if he was like me, I'd go, well, sure I do.
That's me in the
But I
grocery
don't.
store every weekend.
Yeah, but if I mentioned River City Speedway, I would think.
I don't
mean,
think
it was
he-
one of the greatest races we've ever
Yeah.
seen,
Well,
and
I don't
I'm
think
sure
you-
he doesn't
How
forget
do you
that.
forget that?
Yeah, right.
How do you forget what you've done and how many views were on YouTube and Facebook and
Well, I think
mean-
it was like all over the mainstream media.
it was
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And World of Outlaws
The
still
Dale
talks
Jr.
about it today.
download, they had him on
that.
there.
Yeah, they had that on there too, and they asked about it too
Yeah.
when he had Kyle Larson on there.
Yep.
When you look at what that guy has done,
Oh my goodness.
I mean, and they talked about it this weekend watching the Clash. He's like, "Oh, look at that blue and white number 5. He's coming.
Yep.
He's coming all the time." Pretty cool to know that we've actually met somebody that does really well racing, right?
Right.
Not only in our
In
local,
any form of racing.
That's what I'm saying. Any form of racing, we got to meet the guy. Did you get to meet him too?
I didn't meet him, but I was kind of hanging around there.
Him and I got a fist bump. I told him, I said, "No, I appreciate you coming all the way over here to race." And he goes, "Wouldn't miss this track. It's a bucket list."
Yeah. Well, how cool is that to hear?
That's pretty cool.
I almost feel like it was a blessing that he got kicked out of NASCAR for that year.
It was for dirt track fans.
It
I mean,
was
it
for dirt
really
track
was.
fans.
Well, even for his career in a way. Like,
Yeah.
Who would have thought he'd get a Hendrick ride had he gotten
Right.
Had he not gotten let go?
I always figured it was going to be Tony Stewart would be hooking up with
Maybe.
him, but I mean, I know Tony's got a lot of money, and Tony, I know you're watching too. He's got a lot of money, but
Thanks
you
for tuning in.
can't match the Hendrick money.
No.
I would imagine.
Hendrick Power is just different. I mean, they've been around forever. Jeff Gordon now is the vice president of Hendrick Motorsports. It's pretty cool. That's my dad's favorite driver. When I was a kid, it was always Jeff Gordon. You go to my house, you have a wall of fame at your house. to where you have just racing stuff on one wall.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So my dad, you walk into our basement. We have a upper and lower, obviously, basements and stuff. Walk in from the garage into their one wall. It's just full of Jeff Gordon stuff. Like everything from cars that aren't opened in the boxes, everything.
Yep.
And he was like that, and he's still like that. And so now he's a 24 guy, but he's a Hendrick guy altogether.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool to watch my dad's favorite guy still around. I am now a Kyle Larson fan. No doubt about that.
And see me, I hated Jeff Gordon because I was such a Dale Earnhardt fan.
Yeah.
Right.
I still remember it like it was yesterday when Dale lost his life.
Yes.
I actually did not watch another NASCAR race. It was probably a couple of years. I just refused to watch it. And now I started getting back into it again, and I've got my favorite tracks and everything. But the Kyle Larson thing, it's kind of a funny story. Mark Dobmeyer had told me that, I don't know if they were out west or something, and he said this kid come up to me. I was sitting in the stands watching. I was off that day. They race every other day or whatever.
Right.
And he introduced himself as Kyle Larson. And Mark, I believe, raced against him that week. And he told me flat out, he goes, you watch for this kid. He goes, this kid is going to be incredible. He can drive pretty much anything. He really knows what's going on. And that was how many years ago? And, well, Mark Dobmeyer, you were absolutely right.
He hit the nail on the head there.
Travis Strandell says, looking forward to racing against Josh Moore this coming year. And, by the way, I need another dirt track misfit decal. And, by the way, Joshua, if you've got any more of those, they would look really good right here, right up on the Duso Photography Wall of Fame.
Oh, I'm sure I could get some.
Oh, good. I like
you
that.
have a connection into that. I mean, you can.
I got a vinyl cutter.
Well, that always helps.
That helps a ton.
Holy crap, what don't you have?
Well, I figured it'd be easier to decal all my cars.
Oh, sure.
By doing it myself. So.
Right.
Well, that makes
and
a
more
lot of
cost
sense.
effective for that
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
So when you pull into a racetrack, do you have everybody do you help everybody out? I mean, because I know the Western Renegade stuff, you work on everybody else's vehicle or cars too. I've actually seen you go help people like the Miles Tomlinson stuff. Do you feel like that's your legacy as a racer car driver? Or you're a man of everybody?
I guess. I don't know. I help if needed, but
Right.
you know.
Because you want to see everybody out there, obviously.
Yeah, and I think Miles and them guys want to see everybody out there too.
Right.
If I have a problem, they're over here, trying to help me. Same with the NLRA. If I get wrecked into a wall or something, there's guys with front end parts ready to help me out.
And I was going to ask you that because every type of race car driver or family member or whatever that has been on the Dirty Thursday show, they all talk about how their sanctioning body is like a family.
Yep.
Guys are willing to help. Guys are they're going to do what they can because they want to see everybody race. But now when you're running against 4 different cars, you're probably not quite as good of friends as a lot of these guys are because they're together all the time. But when you go from class to class to class to class, is it the same all the way around? You know what? Joshua Johnson, he's only raced with us a couple of times. I'm not going to help him. But do you find that out? Or is it
I
all
think they're just happy that another racer's wanting to be with them. So
Right. And that's the beautiful part of that. He's a part of 4.
Yep.
Four different classes.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty soon the guy's going to have to bring a semi just to bring his cars.
There you go.
I'd need the manpower to help me out there. But
And that's what I was going to ask next. Are you by yourself most of these nights, most of these weekends?
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're
when I
prepping all
travel with
that-
Tom, we'll
Well,
help each other out and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, it's kind of just me.
So in the summer, how much sleep do you not get?
It's a great question.
I always tell myself, especially in the middle of the year, that there's plenty of time to oversleep in the winter.
Well, that's true. Dr. Pepper's got to be flowing constantly for the caffeine, or you just get so busy you don't think about it.
Some nights I gotta find an energy drink, maybe. But
Yeah. Man, I just couldn't imagine. I mean, I wrenched on one car back in the day, and I thought that was a lot. But is it a lot of work? I mean, if you keep them on all 4 and hopefully don't have any major breakdowns or failures or anything, is it a lot of work, or do you just kind of go week by week with your schedule and say, okay, this week we're going to put the late model in the back of the shop and I need to focus on the wingless sprint? Or how do you even manage a schedule like that?
it's kind of like that. But if you try to run them all in a week, you kind of have a maintenance schedule you try to keep track of, and just you gotta maybe change tires, stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, if I get in a wreck in one, I know I might be out a couple weeks or something, and at least I'll have another car that I can kind of go race with. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot of work. There's not a lot of sleep involved, but
I want to throw this in there quick because this is the only way I'm going to get their attention. But Brady Johnson, if you don't get a hold of me here real quick about next Thursday, carry on Troft Group, and I'm going to be calling you. How's that? You think that was subtle enough?
I think that's pretty straightforward and to the point.
I got nobody booked for next Thursday.
Right.
So, and I plan on leaving immediately after that show is done.
Right.
So we
So it might be a show where it's just you and I talking about racing for this 2022.
Heck, we could do that.
I'm just saying, if nobody wants to come on, it's crazy.
Yeah. You know what? That might not be a bad idea.
This is a sad after thing here. People like the Dirty Thursdays.
Yeah.
And so look at, you have no idea how much we're going to take Josh's stature up through the roof here with this show.
Oof. You're going to be signing autographs the minute you walk out of here, man.
Yeah, I can already see a line.
They're starting. She's sitting on the bench right now waiting for you to come out. There's one person out.
Yeah, she's on her phone watching the show. Let's see if she waves at us.
I don't think she has no clue.
Maybe she's not watching the show.
Maybe she's on the Target app. Maybe she's on the Target app instead.
How many years have you been racing now?
I took a couple years off, but since 2010, so this would probably be my 12th overall year.
Okay. If you were to think about it, is there a night you thought, wow, can it get any better than this? Favorite night maybe on a racetrack? Is there one?
I'd say a couple of years ago when we had our wingless show in Grand Forks. That was the first night I actually had like full power in the car, and I almost won the feature. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It'd have been pretty cool to be in victory lane at Grand Forks.
Well, I mean, let's face it. You picked like the hardest, most competitive, fastest cars to race, and it ain't easy. No. I mean, you're racing against some of the best around here in these classes.
Right. I feel like if I would have started lower, I could have probably have like a feature wins under my belt, like all kinds of feature wins. But I went for the hardest one first, so.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
They always say go big or go home.
I'd say a good night is almost a feature win in my book.
Right.
In the late mall.
Sure. Oh, I think that'd be a solid feature, night for anybody's book, really. Right. I mean, to run good and keep up with the front.
Yeah, and
you're looking at Dustin Strand. You got, Brad Sang, Joey Peterson. Those guys to run up with, and you're up there with them.
Yep.
That's a hell of a night in my book.
Right.
That's a great night.
A couple of questions that we ask every race car driver that have been on the show. Have you ever been in a really bad wreck? One that rung your bell a little bit, or you woke up the next day and
it probably rung his bell so hard he doesn't remember.
Do it, yeah.
Well, there's a Stampede, I want to say 2015, where I slipped off the edge off of turn 2, and there's a big concrete wall there.
Oh, there is,
and I piled into that pretty hard. Remember both rims were like basically pancaked on the right side, and somehow we actually got the car together the next day. They thought I'd be out like completely.
Right.
And that Olson that I had bought the car from, his dad was in the pits. He's like, here, give me a couple of tools, and I think we can put this back together.
Wow.
I had to borrow some wheels and
right.
front end pieces, all kinds of good stuff, but I got it out the next day.
That is crazy.
When you go from class to class to class and all these different types of cars, how much of this did you have to learn on the fly? Because you mentioned to Chad that you're basically a one-man show. Yeah. Is there enough friends out there that kind of give you the little hints, or is a lot of it by trial and error? Because they're all different.
I'd say a lot of, like the sprint car, I do have Tom in my corner, so if something's not right, he's been around it long enough that I can help out.
It's a perfect lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late mall, there's people that will help me out, but it's a lot of trial and error there. Mm-hmm. Some nights you might be really quick, some nights you can't get out of last.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, and that's no different than having an announcer too. Some nights we're on our top of our game, and there's some nights where our tongue is slipping all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's days I can't even say my own name.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's the thought is like right here in my head, and it just can't. Like back to you, John.
Yeah, the thoughts are right here, and then the 80s strikes again, and I just womp, 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 womp. Sound like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah. I shut the mic off sometimes, like, God damn, I should have said that, So everybody has bad nights, right?
And that's why I don't ever watch any of our shows we do.
Right.
I don't ever watch any replays at the racetrack. I can't stand listening to myself. I can't stand looking at myself, which I'm doing right now on the monitor.
Yeah.
I just don't like doing that.
Right.
Our goal, I think, is when you show up at the racetrack, when we show up, our job is to put on a show.
Yeah,
Our
we're there
job
to
is to make
entertain.
it the most entertaining show you possibly can, and just us is just a little sprinkle in all of the action that's going on at these racetracks. But you try to make it all into one big show. Brad Singh put it to me the best one time. He goes, think about it as a circus atmosphere.
Yep.
Give the people their money's worth, make it quick, make them have fun, and we'll get out of here, and it'll be a great night.
And that's the goal every night when we
Mm-hmm.
go there. And I think that's the beautiful thing about having River City Speedway as a home for us is that it's such a big venue.
Yep.
I mean, and when you come to race here and you feel that when you get on there, you come on to corner number 4 onto the straightaway and you feel the grandstand presence.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty big for it to be that close. I mean, you have
Well, I bet you
huge
I still get
grandstands.
hair standing up on my neck or whatever
You'd
just
have
going
to.
onto the racetrack.
You have to. I mean, you. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine because you do come on racetracks like West Fargo is a big grandstand.
Yeah.
Not gonna deny about that. But look how much closer you are to the Grand Forks. It's
Well,
all
like
about
when we're
proximity.
pulling on to turn 4,
Yeah.
and you see all those fans like looking at you, it's like,
You see some of them are clapping for you, or you're screaming your name or whatever, and you're like, "Holy crap! Oh God, okay."
Yeah.
Don't pee, don't pee, don't pee, don't pee. That's the way I felt in Dobmeyer's car when I'm behind him, and people are all like, "Woo, here we go again." You're like, "Oh God, don't pee, don't pee, don't pee." I might have, but I'm not going to tell you guys for sure.
I kind of experienced that one time. I actually got to drive the pace car for a World of Outlaw heat race, I believe it was, and I had my wife in the passenger seat. And so they're all behind me. You're going way faster than you think. I mean, I'm probably only going 30, 35 miles an hour. You feel like you're going about 135.
Right.
But then when they give them the green to do those couple of laps to get lined up, and these guys are just blowing by us. I mean, and I'm down in the bottom of the track trying to make sure I stay out of their way. My wife's out the window trying to take pictures of these sprint
getting
cars going
hit.
by with her cell phone.
Oh no!
All we got was a bunch of pictures of the grandstands because there'd be like boom, click, boom, click, boom, boom, click, click, and we missed them all.
Last year we rained out and they came back on Sunday. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would drive. I usually try to get in with Jeff in the pace truck and go around with him and stuff. And last year we went around, we had so much mud thrown at us.
Oh yeah,
we're like, we don't dare turn on the windshield wipers because then it's gone.
And you won't be able to see
Then
anything.
it's gone.
Yeah.
You talking Jeff Tarr?
Yeah.
Oh, great guy.
Yeah, awesome man. He's so much fun to talk to and be around. And he comes down and I get in the back of the truck. I get in the pack, whatever. If it's hot out, he's got the air conditioner on. I can get in. It's just he's definitely my lifeline down there for some portions. And to be in the back of that truck to watch World of Outlaws come up at you, that is just a heart pumping thing that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good times.
You'll remember it forever.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to be able to get the right motor for the World of Outlaws to race with them one time here?
I want to say if everything's going good at the 305, unfortunately, that's all I'd have.
Right.
But I'd try to run against them in Fargo, maybe.
Well, yeah.
Sure. Why not?
I think why the hell not? You're going to be, and that'd be a good idea
I'd say
for
if
you.
when they're up here, I'd hopefully have my late model here.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I think the 305 would be awesome because you're going to be racing that all the time in Fargo.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're going to know the track, know which lane and all that fun
Right.
jazz.
I'd be off the pace a little bit, but I'd still try to give her and hopefully somehow make the show.
So when you talk about the 305 now, then you had mentioned Knoxville, and that brings in the possibility there because I think they run 305s every
305s
week there, don't they?
Well, they did. Now they moved it up to the 525, which is what some of the Wayzata late model guys have now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd almost have to get one of those or a 360 or 410. But that's definitely a bucket list.
So when you look at 2022 as a whole for you, I know you're going to get the calendar out. You're going to look at the schedules. What is the thing you're looking forward to the most?
Got the biggest circle on that calendar date.
Probably the USA Nationals in Cedar Lake.
There you go.
They have grandstands on both sides and they fill them and they got like campers all the way around 3 and 4 or 3 and 4. Just pulling out there last year for the first time. I'd gone there as a fan for years upon years. So it was, pulling on the racetrack as a driver for the first time there was incredible.
I bet.
Right.
I remember just kind of looking around and I'm like, I'm actually in front of these people now.
Yeah. Yeah. Your name's getting pronounced over the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big feeling.
Is the sites on your bucket list? I mean, I don't even remember did you run it last year?
No, I had trouble with the late model at the end of the year and I just
that's-
decided to park it.
Yep. But how cool is it there? I mean, especially
same
knowing when you
thing.
can come and spend 3 days.
Right.
You're not going back and forth and back and forth. And if you are, you're not hauling everything. But, and then not to mention the late night barbecues and food and partying and all of that kind of fun stuff.
Well, I haven't raced every sites, but I've been to every sites.
Yep.
So I'm always at least a part of it. But
Sure.
I didn't want to bring my D game.
Yeah. I think, hopefully one year you get to that point, because I think that's another thing that'll make you goosebumps when you get to, because the crowd there is phenomenal. The crowd every night at River City Speedway, don't get me wrong, is phenomenal. But for the big shows that we have, they come in in flocks.
They're packed. Yeah.
And that's when you pull up to the racetrack on that Thursday night, the prelude of the Johnny, and people are, what the hell I'm trying to think, tailgating.
Yeah.
I was like, tailgating for a dirt track race. And I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool.
And you know what? It sounds like Canada is finally starting to get their crap together up there.
Well, yeah, there's no trucks moving.
Trudeau, I don't know if he's out of hiding yet or not, but it sounds like they're starting to lift some of the sanctions up north. We can only hope. I mean, I miss our Canadian fans and the Canadian race car drivers. I mean, a lot of these guys that I'm used to talking to every single week, we haven't seen now in a couple of years, so
they'd always be
that's going to be nice.
It doesn't seem right when you pull into the track and there's nobody in Little Canada.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I mean, when I first got introduced to those guys down there, and I was welcomed in like family with John, and then you pull in and you don't see that stuff anymore, I mean, you see there towards the end of the year, there's motorhomes sitting there because obviously people fill it in, but to have those there all year, it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yep.
That's no doubt.
I just got a text from Kevin Pappenfuss. Always love hearing from Kevin. My niece and her husband came to the Hall of Fame when I got in, and they're all from he said Dismark. Then he said, oops, Bismarck. But they're all from the Bismarck area and lived by Rapid City. They said walking into River Cities, it's like a NASCAR track compared to what they're used to down there. You know what? Our facility up here might be old, but...
Well, even on a regular Friday night, it seems like there's a buzz just pulling in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so historic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so historic.
And every week it's like, I hear this. Well, why are you going so early? I'd be there at noon if I could.
Right.
I mean, I'd be there at noon every Friday. I don't have the time like I used to when I was doing what you're doing. I used to spend a lot of time in the pits, and now I don't get to. And I really wish that I did have more time, but I'm starting to get keyed up for this year.
I think, I had a good friend of mine that's been announcing for well over 30 years, Larry McFall. He does Minot, he does Williston, he does Estevan, he does the Dakota Modified Tour with them. He's done them for years. He's doing a little dabbling back and forth. I think he's getting close to retirement off of doing announcing. And one of his bucket lists was he wants to announce at River City Speedway. Last year he got the opportunity, and he got up. And it's hard for him to get emotional. He doesn't really get emotional that often. But when he got up and he stood right in front of the flag stand and just looked.
Yeah.
And he just stood there and looked.
Well, we have a lot of race announcer friends.
Yeah.
I know pretty much every announcer at all the local tracks around here, and most of them tell me, you got the nice job over there.
Yeah.
You got the track, you got the facility. I love it. A couple of more texts here quick. Kevin Pappenfuss says, I heard they blocked the Pembina border now. I hope they did. Not to take anything away from my Canadian friends, but I hope they did to make their point. Corey Palm says, yeah,
hey,
hi, Corey. We need our Canadian friends back racing with us, and you are absolutely right. I've still got some pictures from last year during the quarantine. Let's see, who did we talk to? Mooney. We talked to Mooney. We talked to Thomas Kennedy. We talked to numerous race car drivers
from Canada
that have not been able to make it down yet. So I can't get their autographs. So I can't put them on the Duso Photography Wall of Fame. But it's going to be hopefully this year at some time.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm an emotional guy. I'm a big teddy bear. But last year when I saw Mike Balkin, and he waved me down, like I was driving the van I have, that police van.
Yeah.
And
the mystery wagon. Or
so I look over and I see the 10 and I see Steven and I see Mike Balkin. I stopped and I got out and I went and gave him a hug and said, dude, I'm almost ready to cry.
Yeah.
This is awesome to have them back home.
Yeah. And by the way, did I think Amber got married?
Yep.
I believe.
Yes.
Okay. And Amber or Mike, if you're watching, Amber, you never did give back to me. I want to get her on the show so bad. But now she's big time.
She's big
So,
time.
If
Racing
you can
Menards
somehow
and
get her
ARCA.
next week, she's racing the ARCA race.
Yeah,
at
she'll be at
Daytona.
Daytona.
She'll be racing. Yeah. You
So
should,
good luck to her.
are you going to be down for that?
I will not be there in time for the ARCA race.
the ARCA race,
Nope,
okay.
nope. All I'm going to catch is Sunday. Anyway. You mentioned, Joshua, you pretty much do everything yourself, but it takes money to run a race team. Especially it takes money to run 4 race teams. Why don't you give a shout out? Here's your chance to give a shout out to some of the people on your cars.
I got Jerry's Welding and Fabricating. That's actually my grandpa. It's not a real business, but he, when I've needed help with anything, he's been able to help me.
He's that guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's been on there since the first year of racing. I put the Misfits on there just because I needed space to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GRP Motorsports out of Stillwater. He helps out a lot of tracks, series, drivers, and he's based out of Stillwater. So
Yeah.
it was nice to have him on there.
All right. You got any of that extra space available on any cars this year? I mean,
We got a
that's how we get on a car.
Yeah.
I can definitely find space.
Yeah. We'll throw a logo on there.
You might actually see GFBS logo on a wing of a sprint car this year.
What?
You might.
What?
Well, it's all in the works.
Okay. all
We'll
right.
see.
We're not going to break the news yet.
Well,
Okay.
plus it didn't cost us anything. So
Quiet. It cost us a lot.
I'm worried, Joshua, and you're a race car driver, and this is usually something I brought it up to you when you got here. You got to go to Harwood. Weather outside right now is total crap.
Yep.
Yes.
You don't seem worried about it. I even told him, you know what, you can come and hang out at our house for a while if you want to, but he doesn't seem to be too worried. Hey, what's up?
Well, I was going to say that might cost us because if we have to buy this big decal to put on a sprint car and he rolls it on the first race,
You'd have to buy another.
then we have to buy another one.
Hey, we know a guy that's got the vinyl machine
Yeah.
though, or the cutter, so maybe it won't. But good point there.
Of course, the boss would come in and say that. It might cost
That'd be
us.
our luck. I know you're looking at your watch. You probably got to get back to work.
That's my lunch hour.
Yeah, and we appreciate you coming in on.
Yeah,
lunch
no,
hour.
I love this. This is so much fun. It keeps me connected to it too. You know, work becomes pretty
Monotonous.
overbearing.
Yeah.
Overbearing
Yeah.
sometimes, and it's nice to get away. This is kind of like a stress releaser.
Yep.
And so it's always good. I don't care if you're on overtime.
It's not the weekend, but it's almost there, and this kind of helps.
This helps breaks it up.
Yep.
And I love coming on here and laughing and having a good time, and making John laugh is always fun. Change outfits and stuff. That's
You know
good.
what I like about this show is it's the first time I've ever really sat down and talked with you.
Yeah.
I know who you are. I've known who you are, and I don't get that chance, but these shows do. One last question for you.
Yes.
Terry Blacklands. What a great question, Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Ask Josh who's the better race car driver, his dad, brother, or him.
No comment.
He's even politically correct. How about that?
He pleads the fifth on that
Yeah,
one.
no
I
comment.
still need to see him. So
Okay, how about if you all were going to race against each other at one time right now? Who would win?
right now, like if we're all, I think my brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was good all the way from the start to the end.
Yeah.
He even only ran like a handful of times last year and won twice.
Right,
In
yep.
the modifieds.
So if you and your brother were going to fight, who would win?
No comment.
I'm just trying to get him going here. So I'm like, what, are you afraid of him or what?
Everybody asks me sometimes, like, are you a good fighter? I say, oh, I'm an awesome fighter.
Yeah.
And like, why are you a good fighter? I said, because nobody wants to fight the naked guy. If somebody wants to pick a fight, I'm gonna start stripping. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's go.
That's just weird.
Well, then nobody's gonna get in a fight with me then,
Well, that's true.
because I'll hug the shit out of you.
Oh,
I gotta get it out. Right here.
wait.
That's not what I meant.
There we go.
Yeah, of course it went that way.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Says, great job, boys. And thank you guys for coming in today. I know it was a long haul for you. And,
Appreciate it.
And like I mentioned, Joshua, you have been on our radar for a long time. You keep the fans entertained, no doubt about it. And we can't wait to see you coming out again this year. So looking forward to the new race season.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your winter. Do you have a lot left to do to get ready for the next season?
The late models in pieces, so I'm gonna have to really, once it warms up, it'll be a little easier
Easier to work on
yeah.
it. Yeah.
The non-wing car would take a weekend to get done.
Mm-hmm.
The injected winged car, we're still putting it together, but that's close to being a roller. And then when the engine's in, hopefully that doesn't take too long.
Right.
Right
so then
on.
you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Race fans, you guys that watch every week, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching us and making this show what it has been this past couple of years. It's been amazing. I can't wait to see you guys in person here in 2022.
I can't wait either.
Yep.
And by the way, again, not sure who we're going to have on Dirty Thursday next week, but you got Mason the week after. You're going to be filling in, running the show. So thank you very much to the other half of the Bullring Boys, Chad Hoff, and thank you very much, Joshua Johnson, for coming in. And thank you to Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. They bring you the Dirty Thursday show every single Thursday. Wall-to-wall TVs. You want to go watch the UND Fighting Hawks hockey team this weekend? Do it there. You want to go watch the Super Bowl? Watch it there. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl? It could go. It's going to go down to it's going to be the Rams.
Yeah, I
think
you're
so.
right. I
Defensive
believe you're
line's going to kill them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I like their quarterback.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, they've got all kinds of express lunch deals. They have got lunch and dinner specials, Fiesta Fridays. They got the pounder deals on Wednesdays. And, of course, home of the world-famous Beer Tower. BT, Scotty, Jake, the whole crew over at Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. They are awesome guys. In fact, I ran over there quickly right before the show so we could get that $12 in the beer fridge here. So again, thank you to Rumors and all our sponsors here tonight. Now tonight at 6:30, join Monty and Bill and the rest of the gang for the best Forking Sports Arena show. We will catch you all tomorrow morning. And remember, like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit the notification bell on your smartphone. Become a patron on Podbean to win all kinds of GFBS swag. You know, the Grand Cities, man, it's a pretty cool place. Grand Forks' best source is giving it an identity again.